This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. It does not matter who the host is. That is the truth. Today's Tuesday, July the 13th of 2021, day 194 of the year, and only 171 days left to go. Hopefully everything is fantastic on this lovely Tuesday as you are taking a look to what the hell we have going on right away first thing in this lovely morning on the eastern seaboard of the country, that's for sure. So anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse of Safety FM. And of course, we're hanging out with those people that we hang out with in that other place. You know, we refer to them as our sister station.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
So there you go. That's what we got going on first thing in this lovely morning. So let's start talking right away about the things that we're seeing across the multiplex. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Maybe the multiverse. Now that I think about it, when we talked yesterday, we didn't talk about what was trending inside of the movie theater. That's kind of weird because we normally do talk about that on Monday. Anyways, does that really matter? Anyways, what do you have going on this lovely Tuesday? A lot of things going on today, depending on where you're at inside of the country. Are you already starting to participate at going to any kind of events in person? And I'm talking about the safety practitioner events that are going on. And if you are traveling, which I'm kind of intrigued by, how does it look right now? I had a friend that recently got stuck inside of the airport for roughly about 8 hours. So I'm trying to take a look around exactly what was going on. And that's due to delays, not stuck on a plane, but stuck due to delays for about 8 hours. So what are you seeing the trends being right now? If you are traveling, I would like to have a better understanding. Because I am getting those offers in now to do so, which are kind of scary because it's been some time. Anyway, so let's start talking about what is trending inside of this world of ours currently. So what we are seeing, because today is Tuesday, we started talking about the music trends. I always think that those are important to come out and talk about as we start off first thing. So according to iTunes, the top 5 songs that we're taking a look at, here they go in no particular order. That's a lie. From the bottom to the top and to the top to the bottom. Post Malone, Motley Crue. And yeah, it is spelled like the band Motley Crue. Doja Cat, Ain't It Yeah, you can imagine what the next one is. Drake featuring Little Baby, Wants and Needs. Olivia Rodrigo at number 2, What Good For You. And then The Kid and Justin Bieber would stay at number 1. This is according to the top songs on iTunes. Now, if you take a look at the other side of it, it is Spotify that we'd be taking a look at there. And we're going to be looking at Manskin with Beggin'. At number 4, Post Malone, Motley Crue. At number 3, Doja Cat, Kiss Me More. At number 2, Olivia Rodrigo, Good For You. And at the number 1 spot, The Kid featuring Justin Bieber would stay. So there you go. That's what's going across the trends of the music charts. What music charts are you paying attention to? Now, keep in mind that when we give you those are the top 5 songs across the board there. And, of course, it's the U.S. base. I think they have a world one as well. I mean, I think it breaks down to every single country if you're so inclined to take a look at those, of course. But we talk about all of them because I think that they're important. Anyway, so you know, my friends, we talk about this all the time. So we're not going to do it any different today as we do talk about it. So we're going to do this. We're going to go in. We're going to talk about everything going on inside of the world that we can find that's related to the world of safety at the moment. We're going to talk about news. That way you can see how safety and news are tied into each other. And then we're going to come back and we're going to go into some nonsense on this lovely Tuesday. And we're going to talk about the nonsense that I want to talk about today. And then we're going to have you come in and start talking about what you want to talk about. And then we're going to go back and forth. Or maybe we'll be one of these episodes where you listen, I talk, or you talk, I listen. Something along those lines. Always an interesting time because we never know what the hell we're going to get around here. That is for sure. Anyways, let me bring my friends in from Feature Story News and let them take it away and see what the hell they have to say.
Here is the news on the Radio R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Over 50 people have died in Nasiriyah in Iraq after a fire in a hospital. The blaze broke out in a coronavirus isolation ward. There have been clashes between police and protesters after the fire, and the Prime Minister's ordered the arrest of the head of the hospital. France is making COVID-19 vaccinations mandatory for all healthcare workers who risk sanctions if they don't comply. The move was announced by President Emmanuel Macron as part of a package of measures designed to deal with a rise in cases of the Delta variant in France. Ross Cullen reports from FSN Paris.
Doctors, nurses and care home staff have to get a coronavirus vaccine by mid-September or face having their pay docked and being barred from going to work. That was one of the 3 major measures announced by the French president, who also said a COVID-19 health pass will be required to get into public places from the start of August. You must either have been vaccinated or have recently tested negative to enter cafes, restaurants, cinemas and get onto trains. Ross Cullen, Paris.
England defender Tyrone Mings has criticised UK Home Secretary Priti Patel over racism issues. After England's Euro 2020 final defeat, she condemned racist abuse of Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho and Bukayo Saka. But in a tweet, Mings says the Home Secretary stoked the fire by refusing to criticise fans who booed the team for taking the knee heading into the tournament. Government Minister Steve Barclay is defending his cabinet colleague.
The Home Secretary herself, throughout her career, has been the victim of appalling racist abuse. She is taking action as Home Secretary to tackle the scourge of some of these extreme right-wing groups. But above all, the government, the Prime Minister is clear that if these social media platforms do not act, we will legislate and we will fine them. This is something I think, as with the football team itself throughout the Euros, is something that unites us as a country, that this is unacceptable behaviour by a fringe minority.
China is accusing the US of violating its sovereignty after a US warship sailed in a disputed area of the South China Sea. The incident took place on the anniversary of an international court ruling that deemed Beijing has no claim over the territory. Samuel Wong reports.
China is urging the US to stop what it calls provocative actions that undermine the stability of the South China Sea. The Chinese military says it drove away a US warship that had illegally entered Chinese waters near the Paracel Islands on Monday. That comes exactly 5 years after an international court ruling that China has no historic ownership of the area. The US Navy says its sailing was a routine operation that was consistent with international law.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
This is not who we are as South Africans. This is not us.
President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa urging calm after another night of violence sparked by the jailing of his predecessor, Jacob Zuma. The president announced that he's deploying the South African military to pacify the streets after the killing of at least 6 people and the wounding of more than 200 others. Johannesburg, Durban and Pietermaritzburg in Jacob Zuma's home province of KwaZulu-Natal have all experienced violence after the former president turned himself into the authorities late last week to begin a 15-month sentence for contempt of court. FSN's correspondent in our Cape Town bureau is Mark Roughton.
2 of South Africa's 9 provinces have borne the brunt of protests so far. That's the Gauteng province, which is South Africa's economic hub, and then KwaZulu-Natal, which is Jacob Zuma's homeland, but also home to the port of Durban, which is the largest harbour in sub-Saharan Africa. For the most part, police responses have been slow and in many cases just not adequate to actually stop the looting. By Monday afternoon, some communities in the Durban area had already rallied around and formed their own vigilante groups patrolling access in and out of their areas and protecting their shops and livelihoods.
President Ramaphosa also warned South Africans the unrest is hindering efforts to advance the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines in South Africa. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And to recap the top stories, over 50 people have died in Nasiriyah in Iraq after a fire in a hospital. France is making COVID-19 vaccinations mandatory for all healthcare workers. England defender Tyrone Mings has criticised UK Home Secretary Priti Patel over racism issues. And China is accusing the US of violating its sovereignty after an American warship sailed in a disputed area of the South China Sea. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes you're out and about and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it? I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited. And that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more.
The Storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't? Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
We had no idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Well, if I'm going to self-implode, I guess it'll be on these airwaves. That's the way that it actually comes about. Anyway, 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you are hanging out here on Radio Big.FM and Safety FM. And this is really just the Rated R Safety Show. That's really what we get down to. Anyways, let's start talking about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news. You might have heard of this one, and it could have been an interesting one. A group of overworked Burger King employees in Nebraska, yeah, I did say Nebraska, decided to quit on the spot and left their mark on the way out the door. We all quit. Sorry for the inconvenience. They announced beneath the roadside BK sign. Among the quitters was the store general manager, who said once they had to be hospitalized for dehydration after working long hours in a hot kitchen with little support from management. Hold on, little support from management. I'm kind of confused. The general manager left? Isn't he the management? I guess he means upper management, but it's kind of an interesting thing. They got up and left all at the same time. They just said, hey, we're done. We're done so. And decided to walk it out. So I don't know. Is that the right approach? I don't know. You're going to have to make that determination on your own. But an interesting one, definitely, if you are a BK kind of person. So that's for sure. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. Temps in Death Valley hit 130 degrees over the weekend, beating out the previous record of 129.9 degrees set at the same spot last August. The World Meteorological Organization has to verify the data before approving the new record. I mean, let's kind of take a look at this real quick. Let's not get all excited about approving the new record. Let's talk about the hell of heat that's out there, opposed to everything else that's going on. Maybe we should look at it in that way. Anyways, on some other news, the man behind the assassination plot against Haiti's president is allegedly a doctor from Florida. 63-year-old Christian Emmanuel Sanson traveled to Haiti last month when he was suspected of recruiting a paramilitar forces to carry out the raid of an assassination. The Post reports that Sanon wanted to then be installed as the president of Haiti. So far, 28 men have been identified in connection with the raid. 21 have been arrested. Haiti faces a constitutional crisis. In the event of the president is out of office, the head of their Supreme Court would take over. But that position remains empty since the Chief Justice recently died after catching COVID. So this is going to enter into a world of strange. It kind of reminds me of that Keith Sutherland show about, the closest, whatever the hell the thing was called. But that's going to be interesting, because here's what happens next. What next level do you go to? Do you go closest to the key? Closest to the pin, as a game that we used to play on the radio many years ago. But I mean, what are you going to do? What are the expectations of that? I mean, a lot of strange things are going to happen there. Not that strange things weren't happening already. Anyways, before I get too long-winded into this on this lovely Tuesday, let's have our friend Johnny Smalls come in for a moment and let him tell you about what the hell's going on with the market beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, July 13th, 2021. The market appears to be shrugging off all other worries in favor of the earnings outlook. Monday's market pushed the S&P 500 up another 0.35% to set another new all-time high, and it looks like it will continue to go even higher. The only obstacles now are the results of the second quarter earnings season, and those results start rolling in today. Reports from JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, PepsiCo, and ConAgra brands should paint a fairly detailed picture of the broad U.S. economy. The risk for the market is the high expectations for results. If the average S&P 500 company fails to beat the consensus target by a wide enough margin, the entire stock market could be in for a correction. Trading at nearly 22 times its forward earnings estimate, the S&P 500 is highly valued and ripe for a sell-off. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. As we've said before, John and Heidi can be found in the afternoons on RadioBig.fm. They do host the John and Heidi Show. So thanks for the information about the Dow Industrial. Here's what I'll add to it just for the sake of doing so. The Dow Jones Industrial average closed, you ready for this, at 34,995 on Monday, just shy of the milestone of 35,000. Yeah, I did say 35,000 in that particular regards. Anyways, let's start talking a little bit more here. When 34-year-old Edward Morales was kicked out of the Atlanta area bar for drinking too much, he got into his truck, fired a gun at the bar. Once he ran out of ammo, he drove straight through the wall. One witness was hit indirectly with a bullet, and another was hospitalized from the vehicle collision. Charges are pending. So hold on. The dude jumped into his car, Eduardo Morales, not happy that he wasn't able to have some more drinkies. And then all of a sudden now he's turned around and said, let me shoot up the bar, because that sounds like always like a good idea. You know, hitting an object that has nothing that it could actually do. And then, hey, to make some shit worse, let's go ahead and just drive through the thing. I mean, at what portion or at what point did he get cut off? Like, do we have a time of day? Do we have a reference piece? I mean, context does matter. Or as my friend Bischoff likes to say, he doesn't know he's my friend, by the way, likes to say, context is king. Yeah, that plays an important factor. But, you know, I just kind of look at some of these things and go, what the hell are you thinking? I mean, there is no way that I need to get so drunk that I'm so pissed off that I decide to shoot up the bar and let's drive through it. And this goes back to, oh, yes, that magical thing that I talk about all the time. You know, it involves like a Neo and a Morpheus and a Trinity. Oh, yeah, that Matrix thing. But how do we consistently have to think about this hazard matrix of possibility and probability and actually the damn thing happening? I mean, how would you really be thinking that you're going to be sitting at a bar and someone's going to shoot the building up from the outside because they got kicked out? What kind of impact it's going to have? And then the guy's going to say, matter of fact, I didn't pull off everything I wanted to do, so let's drive through the bad boy. I mean, I just don't get it. But then again, what the hell do I know?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, an 18-year-old student in Connecticut has been charged with computer crimes after hacking into the school yearbook system and changing students' quote to ones from Hitler. That's not a joke there. The student has strangely attributed the quote to George Floyd. Here's the quote. It's quite special secret pleasure how the people around us all fail to realize that is really happening to them. The actor will head to court early next month. So think about this real quick. Number one, kind of a stupid thing to do. Let's just be realistic. But you're going to go to jail because you thought that you were doing a class prank. Or you have, let me rephrase that, innocent until proven guilty. You have the possibility of going to jail because you wanted to do a prank and thought it might be a cutesy thing for you. And all of a sudden now you did this shit and now it's going to impact the rest of your life. Now all of a sudden, because of some stupid thing you wanted to post inside of a yearbook that nobody really gives two shits about besides the people in that little general area. Sorry about that, Connecticut. But it's the truth. And now all of a sudden, you're probably going to end up in the pokey because of this. It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, let's just be realistic. You could have done something a little bit more creative besides causing a cyber crime to do something kind of cool. But definitely posting dumbass quotes from Hitler is probably not the best idea. But I just don't get it. But then again, one can sit here and be judgy all the time. I mean, that's easy to do. But then again, where's the rest of the context? Where's the rest of it?
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this one. Pope Francis is planning to attend the UN's Climate Change Conference in November, health permitting. Vatican officials confirmed the appearance on Monday. His Holiness is expected to lay low throughout the rest of July while he recovers from colon surgery. So there you go. Some information there on what he will be doing next if he decides. Well, it sounds like he will be going there. So it'll be interesting to see if everything's going on health-wise good that he will end up going there. Anyways, a federal judge in Tennessee has issued an injunction against the Department of Agriculture, calling for it to stop a loan forgiveness program that excludes white farmers from seeking relief. As written, the plan provides up to 120% loan forgiveness for farmers who are Black, American Indian, Alaskan Native, Hispanic, or Asian, or Hawaiian/Pacific Islander, which government calls socially disadvantaged groups. But it limits white farmers from getting so. So what's your thought on that as we are talking about this? Now, keep in mind that this is in Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee. I mean, it's kind of an interesting approach on how they're taking it. So what do you think about that when you hear it? Just asking the question, of course, because what do I know about any of this stuff? I don't. So that's why I talk about it. That's why I'm here, because we talk about that stuff.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Okay, so this is weird. A record number of manatees have washed ashore in Florida so far this year. A record number. Experts believe that it has to do with fewer seagrass beds, which typically feed the animals. The manatees lost its endangered status and protection in 2017. Environmental activists are calling for it to be returned to the list. So there you go. Some information right away. Anyway, let's continue talking about some other things as it is 27 minutes past the top of the hour. What happens when a state raises the threshold for a felony robbery charge from stealing from $450 worth of stuff to $950 worth of stuff? More stuff gets stolen. I mean, come on, it's a give me here. Well, that's what's happening in San Francisco after California changed exactly that law. NBC News reports that the robberies are now strategic and targeted. Individuals are sent with a robbery shopping list to fall under $950. In San Fran, Target, H&M, Gap, Marshalls, and Walgreens have all reported restricting hours to minimize the value of stolen goods in recent weeks. Fox News reports Walgreens spends 35 times more on security in San Francisco than other areas where the stores are in operation. Meanwhile, in Avalon, New Jersey, that is, where home prices average north of $2 million, the mayor is shutting down beaches and boardwalks after recent uptick in crime, vandalism, and trash left during overnight hours. The mayor chalks up the problem to loosen marijuana restriction, which also allows youth to cause trouble with while high without the fear of law enforcement intervening. I don't know. What do you think about the marijuana thing? It's going to be, do you think that's an interesting push? I mean, and here's the thing. You can have this conversation about weed all the time because it's an easy one. And it really varies significantly on where you stand with it. Hold on, because that probably came across the wrong way, where you stand with it. But where you actually come about in your thought process with it. Because there is medical marijuana. There's stuff that you can do for recreational purposes. I get it. Did I say I get it? That's probably terrible timing in regards to saying that. But you get what I'm saying here. So a lot of this stuff you have to take a look at, and you have to go, okay, there has to be some value proposition across the board here. So if we're going to talk about these kids, are we making an assumption that they're high on marijuana? Because it's an assumption. Because the mayor is chalking up. Because I can sit here and say whatever I want and say however I want to say it and not provide facts. It's not doing you any good, which that's why we've had this discussion over and over and over and over and over again about vetting the shit before we say it. But the mayor is saying, okay, it's because of youth. Well, how the hell are they getting it? Let's start off with that. And then, so if you know how they're getting it, how does this tie into this $950 thing? Because vandalism, does that play a factor? And how the hell did we jump from San Francisco to New Jersey? Because we were talking about California here. So does this mean that you have a vandalism issue there? And so you have loosened drug restrictions. So where are they getting it? And if you're saying that it's youth that's causing it, I mean, let's be real to an extent, because when I was younger, alcohol was alcohol. And if you wanted to get it, it's not super difficult to get. I mean, we always have a friend that you could probably pull it from, probably not giving good ideas out there as talking about this. But let's be realistic. We have to know context opposed to just saying, oh, this is what's going on. I mean, it drives me crazy when we start hearing stuff like that without the full lingo.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM. Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's talk about it today, because it is that day that I'm supposed to talk about, the learnings and all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about the stuff that I have learned over the last however long in regards of doing what I do. And let's be realistic, when I sit back here for this brief moment to give this overall point of view when it comes to things, I am a failure waiting to happen all the time. Let's just kind of be realistic. And I mean that just because I study about safety, learn about safety, know about psychology, does not mean that I am fail-proof, foolproof, or anything along those lines. I will tell you, I have more failures in my life than probably I'd like to admit to. I have more failures, but also at the same time, I have realized that those failures have become learning opportunities. Now, let's be real. I have not been that person my whole life. I would go through failure and go through sadness and go, oh, woe is me. And I think a lot of us go through that stuff. But I came to the realization that those loss or those failures were learning opportunities. And throughout the years, some of the dumbest stuff that I have failed at have made me good at other things, which is kind of weird. Like I always tell people, what makes me really good at my job, at my career path, makes me as a horrible individual in personal relationships. That is the truth. There is no lie behind that. I am always talking about stuff. I am always looking at the other point of view. I am always taking a look around. But what I have noticed throughout the years is that I know a lot of people and have very few friends. And that's fine. That doesn't drive me crazy. It does drive some crazy, but it doesn't drive me crazy. But here's the thing. As much as people go, well, I don't care what that person had to say. I don't care about what happened there. Individual networking and relationships play such a big factor to what goes on next in your life, in your career, and so on. And listen, I'm not saying you need to have friendships or you need to have relationships to use as stepping stones. Some people will look at it in that fashion. But what I always like to do is I like to talk to people all the time that don't agree with my point of view. And I love it. Because here's the thing. I'm not right about everything. Oh, surprise. They're not right about everything. But I love listening to different aspects of it. Because here's what happens. By having conversations with people that don't agree with what I have to say, I learn a lot. I learn that everybody can't be right. No, I'm joking. That's not what I really mean. What I learned, though, is people have different point of views that don't align with mine. And that's okay. Because I want to understand that maybe what I think is not correct too. And I want to have the data of what is there. I want to have the data sets of what is going on. I want to look at these models of what could be corrected or based on the information that I have. Now, I'm going to be honest here. Not that I'm not honest all the time. But I'm going to be honest. If you don't give me factual information, I start poking the bear. I start ribbing a little bit harder. And the reason behind it is I want to have a better understanding on what you're saying and what you're sharing. Some people don't like that. They think it's a little bit too rough around the edges. And that's okay. Because here's the thing. Paradigm shifts are always interesting. But if there is not enough data for the paradigm shift to occur, you're not giving me a better paradigm. And not saying that every conversation you have with someone is going to change their mind on how they see something. You're not going to change my mind, oh, the sky's not really blue. It's a different totally effing color. The whole point here is to be able to have conversations with people that don't align with what you believe in. And that's a great conversation to have. Here's the other portion. What I don't understand is this whole world of social media of if you don't agree with what I have to say, you are deleted, blocked. Hey, okay, cool. Do you. You do you. But why is it that you can't look at other points of views? Like, I'll tell you, when it came to when the election was going around, I was looking at everything Joe Biden was doing. I was doing everything that Donald Trump was doing. And I was looking at the stuff that the independents were doing. And the reason behind it is because I wanted different points of view. It drives people crazy that I watch Fox News and MSNBC because I look at it and I go, I want both sides of the story. And, you know, the easiest thing to do most of the times is just to turn the shit off. But that's the easy part. What happens when you start going through the data? And that's the thing. I will tell you that throughout the years, most of the times, the easiest thing to do is to shut up and take a listen to what people have to say. Don't interrupt them. Just take a listen. That's what a lot of people want to do. They just want to share what they have. I will tell you that throughout the years of being able to talk to people and listen to people, the moment that I'm quiet, the moment that I don't say anything, that is the moment that a whole different world gets revealed to me. And it happens to me in all kinds of different settings. It could be me going to a restaurant, to me actually interviewing someone, to me actually doing nothing at all where people just want to tell me what's going on. And no, I'm not using mind trickery or anything like that. I'm not Jedi powered. But man, it makes it an interesting thing on how those things happen. So if I had to look back and say, what have I learned? It's not going to be this whole great thing about safety. What I would tell you, what I've learned over so many years to this point, is just listen to people. Be willing to have the discussion with people that don't see equally with your side of the equation. It's a difficult thing to do, but always an interesting one. But what do I know? Just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
So I interrupt this very important show to discuss this important matter with you. And here's what I want to share. You know that for years I have been telling you on this show that I don't sleep too great. Well, over the last few months, I've actually acquired a Helix Sleep mattress. And it has changed the way that I sleep entirely. Listen, I have to tell you, for years I have struggled day in and day out, or night in and night out, on how I sleep. But ever since I went to Helix Sleep and took the sleep quiz, it has changed my way of sleeping. All you need to do to be able to encounter this luxury in your home, just go to helixsleep.com/safety. That's helixsleep.com/safety. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you with a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Helix Sleep is offering up to $200 off of all orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/safety. That's helixsleep.com/safety for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay. This one's called Beach Memories by Some Wave. S-U-M. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. I'm hoping that I'm able to sneak away at some point today and do the beach gimmick. No, I'm not joking. I'm being dead serious. Anyways, it is 43 minutes past the top of the hour. As you are hanging out with me here on Rated R Safety Show. So, I don't know. A lot of retrospectives going on today. We can go into that at a later time. The amount of messages that I woke up to this morning, though, was quite amazing. But I'll tell you this one kind of surprised me. One of the guitarists, or the guitarist for Danzig's band, actually reached out to me first thing this morning. I was kind of pretty excited about that. Beyond some other people. So let's get back into it, talk about some more news. I'm liking the jam, though. I'm liking the jam here. Very beach wavy. Anyway, some beach memories. There you go. And let's get into it. Let's talk about some other things. I'm going to talk about this guy. I just mentioned a band just for the sake of doing so. Imagine somebody taking a picture of you real quick, okay? I want you to do that. You know, not a difficult process. And then all of a sudden, you get sued for $150,000. How about that? So Dua Lipa is being sued for posting a paparazzi shot of herself on her social media. Integral Images wants $150,000 in damages after saying that Lipa used a February 2019 photo taken at Integral Photographer is now deleted from her Instagram post. But what the hell? Could you imagine that all of a sudden somebody takes a picture of you and then turns around and says, well, I'm suing you for you using an image of yourself because you didn't get permission from me to use the image that was you. Well, I guess that's a weird spin. But hey, people have to do what they have to do. Anyways, let's continue talking. Let's start talking about shooting the bull real quick. Corona update. Lottery incentives do not lead to more people getting COVID vaccinations, according to researchers from Boston University School of Medicine. The Analyze Ohio Vax a Million lottery based on incentive systems, which gave away $5 million in prizes and found lotteries are of a little limited value increasing vaccines uptakes. Therefore, the resources devoted to the vaccine lotteries may be more successfully invested in programs that target reasons for vaccine hesitancy. Of course, if winning millions of dollars won't convince you to get the vaccine, that could save your family's life. I'm not sure what else would. I mean, something to think about as you do think about it. Anyways, a COVID treatment capable of ending the pandemic once for all may already be available. A team of researchers, including 3 U.S. government senior scientists, are calling the government to treat coronavirus patients with ivermectin, whatever the hell that is a medication used to treat the types of parasites infections. The finding shows that the drugs not only prevents people from contracting COVID, it also defeats the virus and saves lives. Well, I guess that's really important. Let's talk about that. Study authors are urging doctors to demand local and national health officials to use it to be added to the list of approved coronavirus treatments right away. It seems that those vaccine incentive lotteries really are unnecessary then, if you really think about it, when it's all said and done. Anyway, some things to think about as we are talking first thing in the morning here on the Rated R Safety Show. Dilemma. Here's the latest TikTok food trends. As air fryer pasta chips weren't strange enough, TikTokers are now obsessing over Snickles. Yeah, bizarre combination of pickles and Snickers. That's right, Snickers and pickles that have been cut in half and then stuffed with the Snickers candy bar in the middle of them. Let's see. The odd pairing resulted in a hashtag Snickle amazing over 10.8 million views. While the idea had been around for a few years, the trend of skyrocketed after a TikToker, Liam Lunchbox, posted a video of himself preparing the tangy yet sweet treat, attracting almost 500,000 likes. The follows of other bizarre food trends like mustard on watermelons and shit like that, which made the plant molecule that aids the growth and creates the green shade. Caution. So there you go. So if you want to take a look at it, go out there and look for the food of the weird, and I'm sure you'll find it. Let's talk about some great news real quick. Scientists may have found an unlikely solution to the problems of plastic pollution. Yeah. Inside of the stomachs of cows, researchers in Austria have found the common plastics can be broken down when exposed to rumen, the matter found in the largest part of the cow's stomach. The enzymes found within the rumen can break down the common plastics, including those widely used as plastic bags, bottles, textiles, and food packaging. They hope by replicating the enzymes responsible for the process, they can degrade some of the millions of metric tons of non-biodegradable plastic clogging up of the oceans, waterways, and so on, other environmental issues. And yes, the word rumen is related to ruminate, which comes from the Latin word to chew over. So instead of plastics all over the ocean, we'll now have cow barf. I guess that's another way to look at it. If this is true, could someone please explain why milk doesn't eat through the plastic jug? Think about that for a moment. Give it some thought. Give it some thought.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so a lot of people are looking for solutions on how to save money at the gas pump. So let's talk about this. With gas prices in some places doubled at what they were 15 months ago and no relief in sight, here are some ways to increase your gas mileage up to 30%. Check the air. Do not do it before you go anywhere. Low tire pressure can affect the fuel economy, performance, and handling, plus accelerate the tire wear. And if you think gas is expensive, check out the prices of tires these days. It's highway robbery. Yeah. It's really robbery, but whatever. Remove the roof rack at high speeds. More than 50% of engine power goes overcoming aerodynamic drag. So don't carry unneeded items on the roof if you don't have to. Don't speed. You knew that was coming. That was going to be one of the portions of the conversation. You'll avoid getting a ticket, but you'll save money on fuel. Now you're starting to sound like my wife, right? Drive smart, using cruise control, limiting use of using cruise control, limiting use of air conditioning, combining errands, and avoiding idling can also help save fuel. So simply driving smoothly, accelerate moderately, and anticipate movement of traffic. Do not buy premium. Only pay extra on high octane if you're an owner of manual indicates that you should. I'm pretty sure the bank accounts indicates I shouldn't, just saying. Buy gas during the week. It's generally cheaper between Monday through Thursday. In the evening, gas prices on stations drop the price at the evening. During the work week, only raise it back up in the morning. And then once again, it goes back up over the weekend. This is why that's why they don't do around here, except for the part of dropping the price. So I'm just saying in general. So just some stuff to think about the next time that you're going around and saying, hey, I think I might need some gas.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, 51 minutes past the top of the hour. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Wednesday's drawing will be for $137 million or a $98.3 million payout. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million jackpot. Tonight's drawing will be for $104 million or a $74.2 million cash payout. So there you go. That's some opportunities for you if you want to play the game. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about some other things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours. So here's some stuff. I guess I can mention this real quick. Disney says the Black Widow rakes in about $60 million from Disney Plus alone over the weekend. That's close to the $80 million in the theater ticket sales that the flick did in North America sales alone. To watch at home, you have to subscribe to Disney Plus and then pay an additional $30 for short-term rental if you want to watch it ahead of schedule. So just referencing that because I said something about the movies a little while ago. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more. Before we get into this next portion, I think I need to bring Johnny Smalls back inside of here, and we need to talk about what's the Motivation Minute is for today.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Matt. Eckhart Tolle said, "You are the universe, expressing itself as a human for a little while." Interesting thought. Thanks for sending this one, Matt. We're only here a little while, and every year, that's more and more obvious to me. It's interesting to see our perspective change as we age. I remember when I thought 40 was old. Now that I'm quickly approaching 50, I think 60 is pretty dang young. I'm in no rush to get to the finish line of life, but I do plan to enjoy the trip while I'm here. And I encourage you to do that too. Today, I encourage you to think of something that you haven't done in many years and then find a way to do it. It could be something as simple as coloring a picture or riding a roller coaster. Get out there and live. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thanks, John Smalls, for that one. Always motivating, all the stuff that you have to say. Always looking forward to what exactly is going on.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the stuff that's happening back on this day. So let's take a look at this. Back on this day, let's see. Let's go 2013. Hashtag Black Lives Matters is created in response to the acquittal of George Zimmerman. Zimmerman was on trial for the murder of a teenager, Trayvon Martin. Over the years, the movement would garner more support and focus mostly on protesting against police brutality against African American people. So something to think about. That happened back in 2013. Let's talk about some birthdays for today. Cody Bellinger turns 26. Colton Haynes, 33. Stephen R. McQueen turns 33. Yader Molina, 39. Ken Jown, 52. RJ Relacio, 58. Tom Kenny, 59. Diddy Kong, 70. Cheech Marin turned 75 today. Rodney Mills, 75. Erno Rubik, the inventor of the Rubik's Cube, 77. Ready for this? Harrison Ford turned 79 today. And Patrick Stewart, X-Men fame, in Star Trek. He turns 81 today. So there you go. Those are the birthdays that are happening today, if you care to know. And let's talk about some days of the year that you can celebrate as well. National French Fry Day. National Beans and Frank Day. National Delaware Day. Cow Appreciation Day. Well, how can we not appreciate the cows after we were talking about the stomach thing? Barbershop Appreciation Day. Embrace Your Geekness Day. I think I would do that every day. Fool's Paradise Day. And National Nitrogen Ice Cream Day. Maybe I'll enjoy some of that at some point today. So let's continue talking a little bit more before we get you out of here. By the way, at the top of the hour, I will be hanging out on RadioBig.fm. I think today we're going to be mostly acoustic. Just in case you want to come out and hang out, we'll be taking a listen to some acoustic songs around the meter there for sure. Anyways, let me tell you about my friend, because I think this one's going to be important, because they always are.
I'm Jeff Figer. You've heard the saying, he's a natural athlete. Well, the same's true for trial lawyers. There's no class in law school on how to win at trial. That's why so many lawyers settle, because they just don't have it. The courtroom is where I live, and it's where I get justice for my clients. I didn't learn this in law school. I was born for this.
Okay, Jeffrey Figer, 1-800-A-WINNER or FigerLaw.com. That's 1-800-A-WINNER or FigerLaw.com to find out some more information. Let me give you some whack facts for today if you're inclined to hear some of these. A third of all pet owners admit that having more photos of their pet than their spouse. Think about that for a moment. The color orange was named after the fruit, not the other way around. A snail has 2 pairs of antennas. One for seeing and one for smelling. Mozart wrote the melody Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star at the age of 5. Ketchup used to be considered a medicine. Of men and women who sleep alone, more men sleep with teddy bears. Think about that one for a section. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other stuff real quick as we're about to get you out of here. Like I said, you can come out, hang out on RadioBig.fm if you want to, as we play some music in esta mañana. Anyways, let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Know that you're not alone. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose life have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, go to afsp.org. That's afsp.org or call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-TALK or text the word TALK to 741-741. Yep. We can't do what we do without you. You know, you're the most important person on the planet. Think about it for a second, and you'll know it's the truth. Anyways, let me give you some BS real quick. Southern Charm Medicine LaCroix suffered an embarrassing nip slip while on Instagram Live. And by suffered, I, of course, mean carefully orchestrated. Someone stole the trailer for full musical equipment from Ohio rock band The Vicarians. Police said that they're trying to hunt down the thief. So far, they have thanked them. A police chase in Massachusetts ended up at a McDonald's drive-thru when a woman stopped to order food in the middle of the pursuit. Well, that makes it a mistake. A mixtake. You get it? The most popular drinks in America are beer, vodka, and red wine, or as Ben Affleck calls it, a breakfast smoothie. Harrison Ford is 79 today. Instead of the Lost Ark or the Crystal Skull, these days he's just looking for his dang sunglasses. So some stuff to think about for sure. Anyways, let me give you a random joke for today if you do need one. What if the guy who invented the umbrella was just going to call it Brella, but then hesitated at first? If you need a phone starter for today, try this. If your pet could talk, what would it say would completely ruin your image? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this one. Question. Women say that this is the biggest pet peeve in their partner driving. What is it? Playing music too loud. Get rid of the partner. Oh, okay, sorry. There is no such thing as too loud of music inside of the car. I'm just joking. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and on SafetyFM.com. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. We couldn't do what we do without you, the most important part of Radio Big and Safety FM, and that is the listener. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Be careful of your thoughts, They may become the words at any moment. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. I'll see you at RadioBig.fm if you want to come and hang out.
Duh.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.